Morning, man. How are you?
Good. Matt with Queen City Buyers with Kekeli Olympio
From the Olympio team at Atlas Realty.
At Atlas Realty. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So I wanted to get right into your background with getting started in real estate, and maybe even just briefly go into you coming to the United States.
Yeah. Like in a quick. So we were 9. I was 9 when I came to the U.S. I don't know how many years ago that was, but I was 9 when I came to the U.S.
Gotcha.
And it was just like we lived a really good life in Africa, but with wars and different things that we don't have control over, my mom said, let's go to America and chase the dream. So we come here, and it was the opposite of what I.
what you said a good life? What explain a good life in Africa? I don't have no context.
Oh yeah. So my great grandfather was the first president of Togo. So my mom's family is from royalty as well.
Okay.
But you can't transfer those things across the seas. And when there's a war, power don't mean the same as it do here.
Right.
So I went from having chauffeurs and maids to coming here and sleeping on the floor with my mom and my brother.
I didn't know that was the environment you grew up in.
So that was like. So yeah, we moved here. We was in Queens for like 3 weeks. We got robbed. They took all of our luggages. Then we moved to Brooklyn, and then we were in Brooklyn for about 4 to 5 years before we came to Buffalo.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's our story.
You would have been 9 when you came to the U.S. So.
Yeah. Yep. So I moved to Buffalo at 16. So we were in Brooklyn.
Yep.
My mom came up to Buffalo to visit a college. One of our cousins were in college, so she came to visit. That same weekend, she purchased 2 properties on the west side of Buffalo.
Interesting.
Came back and said, "We're leaving."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did she have a lot of money to purchase properties, or this was like?
Oh, in Buffalo, you guys were selling properties for $15,000.
That's why I'm asking.
So her property, her first house, she bought for $15,000. The other one she bought for $22,000. So she had about $40,000 saved from the time we came to the States.
Gotcha.
Because we lived very poor, so we were able to do a lot of other things. And yeah, so she came to Buffalo, bought property, and told us, "Hey guys, we're moving."
And you would have been 14 at that time?
I was 15.
15?
Yep, I was 15 when I moved to Buffalo. We were supposed to come to the U.S. in 2000, and 9/11 happened. So that plan was delayed 2 years. So we came in 2002. And I'll say, like they say, America is like, the home of the brave and, all the great things about America. And I honestly think America is like saved us. You know what I mean? Like this allowed us to dream. I recall like somebody asked me the other day, like, what's your happiest day? I think my happiest day of my life was when I came to America and my mom took us to McDonald's. We had a Happy Meal. Like that right there was like, it's real, we had Happy Meals before, but it don't taste like it does here. It was just, I felt like we were
all those extra chemicals giving you that extra flavor.
Yeah, we didn't have much, but we were happy. And
right.
that Happy Meal box just solidified it all. And it came with a toy.
So it was a big deal. Like
huge deal.
Big deal.
Huge deal.
Huh.
Definitely had a burger. I don't know if it was cheese or not, but we had a burger, French fries, and a drink.
Good. Sounds delicious.
Yeah. I won't eat that today, but at that moment, I was like the greatest thing you could have,
So your mom buys those 2 houses. You lived in one of them?
Yep. We lived on Germain in Black Rock.
Okay.
And that was the first house that she purchased. We lived in the house. It was a 2-family. We had a tenant in the back of us. And then she bought another property on the same street. And then she bought another property at the street right after as the years progressed. But Buffalo in 2008 was a gold mine.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I'm so glad she did it. I was so angry as a kid when I first got here because I'm coming from New York City to this little farm. That's the way I looked at it.
Ooh.
I'm like, I have no friends. There's nothing that's like close to me. So at that moment, for the first year in Buffalo, I wasn't happy, and then things changed. I think when I started to understand the concept of money, that's when I started to appreciate the concept of Buffalo, because the thing that we were able to do in Western New York was far greater than what we could do back home.
Absolutely.
So even when I graduated college here, I was like, I'm going back home. And I was checking the rent prices. I could rent here for $550 at that time. For a 1-bedroom apartment, I can go there and rent the same apartment for $1,800.
It's crazy.
No brainer.
Yeah.
So I stayed.
were you dabbling in real estate before college? Like your mom clearly was kind of doing things, so you.
Yep. So because my mom owned real estate, I became a property manager at 16 years old.
Gotcha.
Right. So.
Right.
And because her lack of speaking perfect English, I was the one negotiating with tenants, contractors, and everything else. So
makes sense.
So I've been in real estate since I was 16. So that's my first introduction to it.
Interesting. Little Kekeli.
Yeah.
Translating for his mom.
Man.
Because part of my background early on in Buffalo is working with Catholic Charities when you had all the immigrants coming here. Like 1,000 families a year would come in.
Yep, so we came in through the lottery, so we didn't have to go through the shelters, but
because they would come here, Catholic Charities would help them, find housing. Mm-hmm. So we managed a ton of real estate. We owned real estate that we would provide the housing, work with Catholic Charities, and when you said that you were translating for your mom, because that was so common, the kids could pick up on English like that,
for sure,
and they adapt. Like so easy because I got that young energy.
Yeah, and I think too. Like, I think because when we were coming, we started learning English before we got here. So 3 months before I came to the States, I was learning English. So when I came here, I just that's why.
Yeah, you get plugged in the school system. You have no choice but to learn it.
That's it. Stick anybody in any school and anywhere, they'll learn that language.
They're going to learn that language
very fast. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, it's so resilient. The kids, they're so resilient. They learn so fast. They pick up.
And I wouldn't trade, my life experiences for anybody else's because of how well diverse I am, because of all the stuff that I went through. I'm so happy I went through it because it shows up in everyday life for me now.
Sure. When did you think about getting your license?
So I didn't really get my license at the beginning of COVID. What happened was I bought my first house. I had a great agent. That agent... Now he's not such a great agent because I know how to be an agent, and I didn't get the services that I deserved. But at that time, one thing he did for me, he gave me access to RPR, and that app taught me how to look at more houses.
What's RPR?
RPR is an app that I use to it's sort of like comps.
Okay,
it teaches you what to buy, how to buy it. At that time, it meant a lot to me. I know other things now, but I still use it to this day. But one day in April, he says, "Hey man, I can't let you use the RPR anymore because my company is cracking down."
Oh, so he was letting you use his subscription or log in or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he says, "Yeah, you only bought one house through me, and but yeah." So that was the end of that conversation. So I just said, "Okay, I can get access to this too just by getting my license." So I got my license just to have access to RPR.
I see.
So I got my license, got the RPR. I was so happy. And then I realized one day I went into a real estate office. I realized how little do real estate agents actually know. There are agents that don't know how the studs are supposed to position, hot water tanks, furnaces. They don't know a lot of things. And I've seen realtors panic over the smallest things. And I was you're scaring clients away. That day I became a realtor. I was licensed, but that's the day I was oh yeah, there's so much opportunity here. I can change the world if I become a realtor. So I saw a problem, and it made so much money to people that didn't know anything. So I saw a window of opportunity, and that's when I became an agent.
Yeah, because you were thinking, well, if they're selling houses and they don't know how to fix a hot water tank or change a hot water tank or even have a conversation around it. So I was they don't know anything. So I wanted to be that guy. And I wanted to be the source and have the resource. Do you remember your volume for your first year?
Yeah. And I don't know volume. I never, I never tracked volume until probably recently. But that first year I had a goal. So I didn't officially become licensed until 2021.
Okay.
And I came in mid-year 2021, July. So 2021 July to December, I closed 11 transactions. So that my first year in real estate, I sold 11 houses.
Right. Which isn't bad for the...
My goal was 20, so I was, and you know me, I'm like so goal driven. I wanted to figure it out what I need to do differently, and how I needed to shift to make it happen.
And you were with Keller Williams.
That's not where I originally started. But
no,
yeah.
It's not.
Nope.
Where did you start?
I was at a small brokerage, and I was there for 6 weeks. It was lack of education, support, so I shifted directions. So I went to Keller Williams. I think as I was sitting there, I'm like, I got my license. I want to help people, but I'm not able to help people because I don't know how to help people. So I called the listing at the time that was listed by Kristen Bishop, which was like one of my biggest idols when I first came in. And I just called her and I just asked her for advice, and she was at Keller Williams. She's been there for this long. She was so happy. So I took a meeting with Keller Williams that next day and I signed that same very day. And that's where I went. And the training, the support, everything I needed, I got from.
You joined a team?
Nope. I wanted to join her team.
Okay.
And they put me through like all this training.
Because they wanted you to get some level of...
Yeah. By the time I got through that training, I realized I could do it myself. You know what I mean? And I can do it my way. Because with a team, you're kind of like, I have a team now, but when you're on the team, you have to do what the team lead essentially want you to do.
Right.
So it's not too much like freedom, control. So so that's where I was.
You decide not to join the team. You're going to do it on your own. You had gone through some level of training, whatever training program that they had for their new agents.
Yep. So I went through all of everything that any information anybody that was successful was giving me, I took it, right? And I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing, and that leads me to like one of the things I teach my agents today is like, there's no such thing as great or bad advice. It's just advice.
Right.
What you do with it is your decision, right? So now I have like my own way of doing things, but I'm so thankful for what I learned there.
Sure.
I learned how to run a business, how to run systems.
When you sold like 11 transactions your first year, that was with them, like while you're going through this training?
Mm-hmm.
You were representing buyers?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. For the first 2.5 years of my career, I think it was all buyers.
Right. Makes sense.
Like, I'll get a listing every now and then, but like, yeah, it was all buyers.
Where you were just going to your own network, like to people in your community, or was it cold outreach?
No. So when I first started, this is what I mean. Like, I don't like all the trainings that I went through because I'm being trained by people that don't have the same background and experiences as I do, right? So when I first got started, everybody said, yeah, go make cold calls. You want to list $400,000 houses, call these people in Williamsville. Here's the list. Boom, boom, boom. But those people don't want to work with a person that looks like me, sound like me. And at that time, I had no sales.
You had no
experience.
No experience.
So I spent a year and a half wasted on calling these people that would never represent me as, you know what I mean? Let me represent them. So the company was sold to a guy, Anthony Butera.
Okay.
One of my like favorite people in real estate. He's helped me tremendously. Anthony helped me get to Family Reunion, which was like Keller Williams every year. They go to like a convention center, somewhere tropical, to discuss real estate. So the owner, one of the owners of the company, was on stage talking, and when he finished, I ran to the backstage. Like I went to the back, and I was like, "Hey, I'm at Keller Williams. I've been here for this long amount of time. I'm struggling."
Right.
And I told him what my struggle was, and I was so honest and just transparent because that's who I am. And I was like, I don't have a white client. I think that's how I worded it to him. Like, I don't have a white client. I'm not racist, but like I don't know how to reach that,
break into that,
that pool. And his answer to me, this changed my entire life in business. And what he said, his name is Jay Papazan, and he said to me is, if you're not thriving in your own neighborhood, why would a person outside of your neighborhood support you? Right? So then he broke it down to he's like, do you like sports? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, if you're a little athlete in Buffalo, if Niagara don't want you, UB don't want you, Canisius don't want you, why would Duke or Syracuse recruit you? changed my mind, right? Like the biggest light bulb went off, and after I came back from Orlando, I literally only focused in Black Rock.
Yeah, work your network.
I worked Black Rock. I didn't call nobody in rich areas anymore. I just only focused on the people that, you know what I mean, that know me. And that was it.
Interesting.
And I sold 30, 40, 50, and just kept going.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The very first purchase that we made was 23 Peter Street.
Okay.
I still own this property to this day. It's my favorite house. I'll never let it go. It's 3 units. When we got it, it was 3 units, just the meters outside. And when you get in the property, it was nothing. It was just walls.
So let me understand
no studs.
So you and your mom are like, okay, we're going to go to the city auction. We're going to buy a house.
Yep.
So here's the list. This is a list of properties on here. We're in our network. We're in our neighborhood where we're living. Yep. So we're looking at the houses.
We lived on Germain already.
So we're talking
2 properties on Germain. Peter was
1 street over. Yeah.
Yeah, 1 street over. So she's like, we have to get it. We have to get our community. We have to. So whether that house was good or bad, we were buying it.
You were buying it.
It was the worst buy ever. You probably wouldn't buy it today. You know?
For $15,000 we will. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
You're looking at the list, you go by the house, but you don't enter the house until after the auction.
We assumed has red carpets. It's a little old.
Yeah, it's gonna be lovely. We'll buy this thing for $15,000.
And we can live in it. We can make something happen.
Yeah.
So we bought it, got the key. It was no key. It was Starhead screwdrivers.
Well,
so we open the door, and when you to your surprise, there's nothing there.
Don't worry, Ma.
It's just walls.
It's just 4 walls. There's no rooms.
And my mom is like one of the most incredible humans I've ever, like, I'm so thankful for her existence on earth. Like, I don't panic in most situations because she doesn't panic in most situations. We walked in and she's like, great. Now let's figure out what's next. And that was it.
So you guys had to rebuild that whole...
We rebuilt the whole house from top to bottom.
Wow.
Top to bottom. All
right, so you're at Keller Williams for how many years? 3?
Yeah.
2.5?
2.5. Yep, so I started in 2021 at Keller Williams, and I left April of 24.
Who was your mentor there? Did you have a mentor?
I had a coach, Rose. She was a nice lady from Philadelphia. The owner, Anthony, was a great person to call when I needed support that the average person couldn't give me. You know what I mean? Because I had big questions that a lot of people couldn't answer. So Rose and Anthony were for sure. And then all the other top agents, I could name a bunch of agents: Kristen Bishop, Jen Gatz, Joe Saccone, just a bunch of great agents that just didn't have to, but took me out to coffee and just gave me tips that other people wouldn't give me, And I had those relationships till this day we're still called cordial.
So remind me of how we ended up meeting.
Oh man, this is good. This is a good story.
This is a good story.
So, Christmas of 2023, my ex-wife ordered gifts for my kids. It comes to the porch, and people keep stealing it. She said, "I've had it. I don't want to live in this neighborhood anymore." So I said, "Okay, where would you like to go?" She said, "I like Buffalo, but I also want to be close to it as possible." So the options were Cheektowaga and Kenmore. Because my mom lived on that side of town already, okay,
Kenmore makes a little bit more sense.
Kenmore makes sense. Let's get Kenmore. So I wasn't rich. I couldn't afford just the average Kenmore house. So I saw you had a listing at 28 Mang. And that's when I called. And I started calling every day. That's how I did. That's how I run my business. It's like, hey, you don't know me, but I really want a chance to buy this house. This is how much I have. Right. I'm willing to secure, these loans and private loans and make it happen. And you gave me a shot. You said, okay, let's make it work, man. Go look at the house and tell me what you come up with. And I went through the house. It was a terrible house, but we figured out how we can make it happen, so we could live in that zip code. A month in, and you say, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, but we got an offer that's cash. I don't have to deal with all the stuff that you have going on, and we're gonna take it."
Yeah. So I remember, number one is like the house. We bought the house, and it was such a heavy renovation that needed to be done.
Yeah.
Like, great location, killer location on Mang, not too far. You know,
Close
walking.
to the bank,
Yeah,
Delaware.
walking distance. Walking distance to Delaware. You got the restaurants, Jay's Artisans Pizza's right over there.
Target.
Key Bank. There's the sub shop right there.
I know. You're making me relive this moment.
But the house, like, I think somebody, like maybe a drug addict lived in there,
Sure.
and feces all over the place.
Yep, it was bad. It was bad. The floors were warped, but I saw the vision.
No heating system, no plumbing, no bathroom.
Yep.
Warped floors.
Yeah. It
Had great bones. I think it had some foundation issues too, didn't it?
No, no foundation.
No foundation. Maybe the foundation.
The walls, the basement was like kind of like halfway finished.
It was.
So you couldn't see the walls.
It was weird.
But it was, yeah.
But generally speaking, like, good bones.
Yeah. And that was how you and I got.
So I'm going to put this on the market. I'm going to see if anybody is interested. And then you started, like, blowing up my phone. I'm like, man, this guy, he just won't go away.
Yeah. That's how that came about. And I like one thing I like about you so much. You weren't the only person I was doing this to. All the other investors in town, we had the same. I was just trying to get my family into this neighborhood.
Right.
So, but you called me, even though you end up selling a house to another person with more money. I get that. That was in the best interest for you. You called me and told me about it. I didn't find out a different way.
Right.
A lot of these investors just blocked me.
They just.
So, like, I call, I text, nobody's responding, but you call and say, hey, I'm sorry.
I legitimately felt bad.
A good kid, and I tried to help you out, but this is what it is. I said, no problem. And I was upset. I was like, I hate this guy, you know? Like, in that moment, I was like, because my family, everybody have seen it already. My mother came, she came. We all started envisioning the neighborhood. So that happened. I was like, everything happens.
It happened for a reason.
Everything happened for a reason. So we shook it off, and I said, we'll buy a house in Kenmore this year. And that's what I said, and that's what I'm going to do, no matter how it come up. So we end up getting a house in Kenmore later on. But that was how you and I got introduced. And I think I stayed in touch.
You did.
Because you connected me with the guy that was the hard money lender at that time, too. So because of that, you were still resourceful. So I just stayed in touch to make, I want to keep my relationships all good in Western New York. And you had another listing come up, and I actually had a client in, where was that house?
Raymond or something on
Raymond,
Lovejoy.
South Buffalo.
Lovejoy.
Lovejoy area.
Yeah.
Yep. So you had a house on Raymond, and it was cash only, and I bought the client, and it was conventional.
So this really stands out in my mind. Like, this stands out. The Mang thing stands out, and then when I put that house up as cash only, the house needed work. It was financeable, but it also needed some attention to it.
Yep.
So we made sure, like, there was heat, electric, and actually, unfortunately, the guy had lost his. It was during the winter, and he lost power, so his, like, boiler system went out, or his whatever he had in there for a heating system. So the whole thing froze and broke and flooded. So we stabilized it.
Yep. Yeah, I had a client that couldn't afford much. I think the pre-approval was up to like $90K.
We wanted a cash buyer, so we could just 1, 2, 3, put this thing on the market, have a cash buyer come in, boom. We put a deadline on there.
Yeah.
And so then you started blowing up my phone, and you're like,
I called you, one, because I feel like you owed me a favor. And two, I wanted to get this done for my client, right? And I knew that there's an opportunity here.
Yeah.
And I think I put on page 8 of the contract, like, we would do all any repairs that come from the appraisal to give you a peace of mind. And I think nothing came up. I think like one little small item came up that you took care of.
So one of the things that stood out to me was when an agent's looking at the market, like it's an active listing, and it says cash only, cash only, no financing, 99% of agents will move on to the next house.
Right.
But you took the extra step and you called me and you're like, hey, we think it'll finance. The financing won't be an issue. We'll pay X amount of money. We'll pay a very generous purchase price. Participate with us going through the finance process. Mm-hmm. And we were like, I don't remember how much more you offered above the asking price.
It was the highest of what she could pay.
Yeah, it was aggressive. I think we had it on maybe for 60, 70,000. You went up to 85.
85 is what we paid.
Yeah. And then you were so confident.
Yeah.
Your confidence in pushing it through, because I was doubtful. Financing, we're gonna run into headaches. We're gonna, and you were just like, no, this is not gonna be a problem. Make sure it's gonna be super easy. We'll deal with everything.
I didn't think it was gonna be, but you know what I mean. I only know what you know.
But you conveyed confidence and determination.
For sure. Yeah, and that client is happy. You know, she bought a house for $85,000, put a brand new roof on it. She's all in $120 now at this point. House is worth $180.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that client now that has no money. So you understand this: you get pre-approved for $90,000 because you live in a certain neighborhood and make a certain amount of money. So she only had $2,000 out of her own money to buy a house. So now you're telling me she owns a house with $60,000 in equity sitting there? That's the American dream.
That's life-changing.
You know,
that's huge.
So we were able to do that, and you know, and I think that's what makes me and my team stand out from other agents, because it's always a way, man. There's always a way. If the house is listed and it says no cash, no FHA, no VA,
right?
A lot of agents are like, oh yeah, don't worry, we can't look at it because they don't want to see it.
That's what I mean.
I'm like, listen, I own property. Let me look at it and work with us. Right, like a lot of deals I won in the past is because I say, hey, we'll do the repairs that come from the FHA repair. So we painted garages on Sunday mornings before the appraiser came on Monday morning. Right, we've put a handrail up because it costs $70. You want to kill a deal for your client because of a handrail, right? So a lot of agents also are a little lazy.
Of course,
yeah, they're like, oh, you don't want to deal with the banks with this. You just want to take cash, and it's like, bro, nobody has $100,000 cash to send around. It's Buffalo, New York,
right?
Like, and the cash buyers are lowballing everything.
Of course.
At that time, you know? Right. So every time I call an agent, they always work with me because I have the track record because of this experience with you. I think you were the first. You weren't the first I tried it with, but I learned from Mang, which rolled over to Raymond, and then which rolled over into my career. So I always see opportunity in every situation.
And we had a deadline. We had a deadline on there. And you pushed, like, let's just break this deadline thing.
We did it.
And we did. And I took some major grief on that. Woof.
Yeah, woof. Look at us now.
But I wouldn't change it.
I made up for it.
Yeah, I wouldn't change going back there.
Right.
Because, you know, I guess, again, like what stood out to me is your ability to say, we can get this done. We're going to make it happen. We're going to do whatever steps we have to do.
Right. So
let's do it.
I was talking to a guy recently, and I think they asked the question, like, if you could start your real estate career over, what would you do differently? And it's like saying, if you can go back 10 years, what would you do? Right? People will say, I'll buy crypto and these things. I don't want to go back and change anything. Right? Everything that I went through to get to this point was so vital in who I am today. Like, I love that you said no on Mang.
Right.
I love Raymond because I learn every time something is happening. I'm learning from it. So without that, I'm not here today. Right. Another thing they always ask me, like, what would the advice you give a new agent? And the advice I always give a new agent is be confident. Right. Because like one of the things I learned at Keller Williams is they make you do lead generation at like the highest. Like they push lead generation, cold calls, doormailers, all these things. Right.
Right.
And I say to agents, that's cool, but here's how you do it properly. Right. You got to do it where you're most confident. So, like, I think I was telling somebody, if you're a tattoo artist, your tattoo clients, that's where your first business come from, right? Go where you're most confident. Like, the rooms that make you more confident. If you're an anime lover or like Jerry, you love Halloween costumes, then you'll advertise in those rooms Because in that room already, you're an expert and you're so confident, right? Like, who could tell you?
Absolutely.
But these new agents come in and they're like, yeah, I want to go join the Rotary Club in Amherst. You don't know anything about it because you want the leads. You want to join the golf course and you don't never play golf before.
Right.
So then when you get there, you're intimidated and you're not confident. And confidence is what leads to most of our people trust us to do things, even at Queen City. You know?
Absolutely.
They trust that you're delivering a great product. And that's, that confidence is literally one of my favorite qualities a human being can have.
You do exude
I want to be around confident people.
Yeah.
Right? Confident in what you know.
Right. It's not a fake confidence.
Right.
It's you're building it off your
like a guy. Like
based on your
I
knowledge.
always give my agents this thing. I always say to them, like, there was a guy one time that I had computer troubles at Geek Squad. I went to with the computer, and I was struggling. This guy took the computer and he fixed it for me in like under a half hour. Like, that guy right there can talk to the most attractive woman on the planet Earth at his store. Because in that room, he is like...
Right.
You know what I mean?
He
can talk to anybody in that room because I'm like, I don't know if I will ever like associate with this guy outside of this place, but in that room, he's a master.
He knows his stuff.
Oh my God, he's incredible. So I think, for new agents, be confident. So like, do your work where you're most confident. So if you're a gym rat, go do your business there. Right. At the smoothie bar at the gym, that's where you meet your clients. You have to just start somewhere.
Right.
So that's what that's what I would tell a newer person.
Makes sense. Absolutely. So you eventually came over to Atlas. You left nice, polished, clean, professional Keller Williams to.
So like, I believe it or not, when I write my real estate book, it's gonna have so much to do with you, right? And only because like Matt has shaped like a lot of my career, At Keller Williams, I was so happy, man. And after I did the deal at Raymond with Matt, he's like, listen, if you need opportunity to come work somewhere else, the door's always open. And I'm like, I love you and I love what you stand for, but I just love it so much here.
Right.
And I'm starting to grow now. So now I have a team. And I had a way of running my team. I had like a structure I want to go with. And Keller Williams
they weren't loving the structure.
They don't love the structure. Right? I love them to this day. Nothing bad to say about them, but my structure didn't fit within their vision. So we had this conversation on a Thursday at 7 p.m. It says, hey, the way you want to run your team, it's not going to work here. Friday at 6 a.m., I text him and I says, I'm ready to set up the meeting.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how it happened. And I was to release my license, and I text them and say, please release my license. Friday, we started paperwork. Monday, I was at Atlas. And that's how Atlas came about.
That's super cool.
I always loved Atlas because even at Keller Williams, I sold a lot of Atlas.
You did, right.
Whenever they listed it, I knew like these are people that are also motivated. They also are creative. So I always reach out whenever I see a listing of theirs and say, hey, how can I help you? Open houses, can I do anything for them? Because I know that they will work with me. So we kept the relationship. And when that one door closed, the other one opened.
So new agents, you talked about confidence, which, you take your circle, you talked about the person in the gym. If that's your space and that's where you're comfortable, that's where you can be confident.
Absolutely.
So I'm a new agent. I'm confident. I'm trying to get my foot wet, or I'm trying to step in and get sales under my belt. What's my first steps of action?
You're already licensed,
I'm licensed. You want
to get licensed?
I'm licensed. I'm brand new. I just plugged in with a brokerage. It doesn't matter what the brokerage is.
Yeah. So I think most of your business will come from people who look, sound like you, and trust you. That's where your business comes from, right? So again, you got to find your people. Essentially, what you're looking for.
Right.
Find people that are so aligned with you that you can have them trust you to do. That's step one. Don't cold call. Don't door knock. Like, so step one at Keller Williams, they give you a list of things like who's your barber, who's your
mechanic,
your mechanic.
whatever, yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
Call all those people. Hey, it's Matt. I just got my license. If you have anybody you love or trust, please send them my way. I would love to help them. Most people don't do rentals. So as a new agent, tell them that. Hey, I will help you buy, sell, or rent.
Right.
Because you're going to get some business from renting for sure because there's so many renters in Western New York. So then that kickstarts your business. I think that's the first thing is to reach out to everybody you know. And just let them know you've transitioned into this.
Right.
And then next step, you need a CRM, which is the backbone of my business. Because if I have all this information, all these great names, Matt, Jerry, Dan, Dave, but I'm not putting it into a system, I will forget, right? So the CRM keeps me so aligned. And
Client
I think
relationship
a new agent,
manager.
I have Follow Up Boss. It costs us about $80 a month, but again, you're a new agent. Get the one that costs $20 a month. Your goal is just to store somewhere. Keep their birthdays. Keep some information. Like I know on your birthday, I sent you a birthday card with a scratch off in it.
You did.
Yeah. So like, and I try to do that with everybody. And I know your birthday too because of how much I like you. But if I forgot, the system reminds you.
Yeah.
And there's no date on this calendar that's more important than a person's birthday, right? So you call them on their birthday, send them a card, and just say hello. Those things, believe it or not,
right,
are the reason why we do such a high volume because people think of us because we make them think of us.
Absolutely. Makes a difference.
So, yeah. So, gather your people, plug them into CRM, and then.
So, join a team, join a big brokerage, small brokerage. What, like, you've done both.
I've done it all.
You've done it. So, what's your.
Again, it's. Every shoe, different shoes fit different people.
True.
Right? So it's different shoes for different people, a different path. So if you are a person like me, I'm from New York City. I don't know anybody here. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I would have joined a team. If I could go back in time, maybe I would have joined a team for a short period of time. But if you're from Western New York, let's say you went to the school like Nichols or O'Hara or
any school,
Narden.
Anywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I'm naming the affluent schools because you already have a network of people.
Right there.
There's no way you don't sell 10 houses just off of the school you went to.
Right.
For those people, grab a yearbook, trace them all down, find them, and reintroduce yourself. It's that simple, that's what I would say.
Absolutely. The market today. I'm a buyer. What's going on in the market for the buyers? What's going on in the market for the sellers?
Right. So for sellers are like the hot girl at the bar, right? Everybody's coming to them and you have the product we all want, right? So sellers, there's always going to be room for a seller to have more power in a transaction. Right, but what we've seen recently, the buyer, there's not that much out there, so the demand for buyer
inventory is low. Quality inventory,
quality inventory is low. So then you have so many buyers, so that's what's driving it up for the sellers. So if you're a seller, you have a good product, you're good. You know what I mean. You make the demands like you.
Right.
It's your market.
So as a seller, you can very confidently go to the market right now, demand maybe even a little bit higher price than what the market was, what your house may have sold.
As long as your house is quality, absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yep. So if you're a seller, and this advice don't go for you, but my one advice I'll give a seller is before you do the repairs too on your home, consult a professional. Like, I don't want you to add a $12,000 door to your house because it won't result in $12,000 more in the sales price.
Right.
Right. So know what to do before you do your repairs. That's definitely what my message to a seller would be.
Did you sell Woodward yet?
Sold.
Is it?
We have a few buyers looking at it in the next couple of days. I think is going to be. We're not bringing briefcase like Jerry did, but Woodward is sold.
Okay. We don't have to worry about that. There's some confidence for you right there.
I love the street.
Oh.
Yeah.
Totally.
I love it. The street sells the house. Sure, we're good agents, but that street is selling this house for us.
Solid.
Right? And the layout is great, too.
The programs that are available for now, the buyers out there.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the sellers. What's your advice to these buyers when they're looking at houses, and then we'll go into the programs that they can tap into as far as some of the grants. What's your advice to buyers in this market?
Like my one advice to a buyer in this market is it is okay to buy the first house that you see. Right? So our job as licensed real estate professionals is you sit with us and we talk about what you want. You want a 3-bedroom, you want a bath, you want a room on the first floor. Okay, so I take you to a house that check all your boxes. Buy it. Right? So if you're a person that's new to the market, it's okay to buy the first house that you see. Because I had so many people that be like, "Oh my God, I love this house."
But it's the first house we looked at.
Well, let's look at 40 more. And they compare, indirectly, these 40 houses to the first one they've seen. And that first one is no longer here. And we can't find it again for a while. So they're like, damn, I should have bought it. So a lot of people will tell you, a lot of my past clients that made that mistake, they will tell you, it's okay to buy your first house you see. One of my clients bought a house in 47 minutes. We had a consult. They sent me a list of everything that they checked. I found a house on the east side. We went to it. Boom. This is it. Can we please get it right now? Absolutely. Contract done. 47 minutes.
The home inspection thing. Let's say I'm a buyer. I want a home inspection, but the market's competitive. So if I put a home inspection on the contract, and this is something I really want, if I check home inspection, it's probably going to impact.
Yeah, home inspection is one of those things that as a realtor we can't advise against, right? But it is also one of those things that hurt a lot of buyers in this market if it's not done strategically. So I try to tell a lot of buyers, if you can get a professional in your family, whether it's a contractor, buddy of your dad's or something, and let's schedule that second showing and have them spend an hour there.
So that was my point. Whether you're taking a real home inspector, whether you're just taking somebody that's owned a home for 10 plus years, somebody's got some experience level, knows what to look for.
My inspectors are going to hate this comment, but contractors are better inspectors than home inspectors. In our experience. Because the contractors sees things because they're actually making these repairs.
Life experience in the area.
And they can tell you, like, listen, there's a hot water tank is not working. We can get you one for $250.
Right.
And a home inspector is going to like, oh, yeah, it needs a flue pipe. It needs to be vented and all these things. A home inspector made an issue about the $7 pipe that goes down.
The blow-off tube or whatever?
Yeah, it's $7.
Yeah.
So then you have these new buyers that don't know anything. Now they're panicking over that. A home inspection, too, they can't open up walls and floors. So people have done home inspections. They moved into a house, and what will go wrong at the worst time. And that happens. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect house. Even the new builds, those have issues. So, yeah. So we're not anti-home inspection. I think they're great. You should absolutely do it. If you're
the part I was trying to get to was you mentioned it, and I picked up on it. You said second showing, because I'm a buyer. I want to inspect the house, but if I have that delay in the contract, that is going to impact how attractive this contract is to the seller. So that doesn't mean I don't get to do a home inspection. Like, right. You do the home inspection on your second showing before the offer deadline.
Before I joined your brokerage, before I joined Atlas, we did another deal in Willette, right? And I say, Matt, and we did another deal in Monticello. And I say, listen, I'll get the inspection done in 24 hours.
Right.
Give the seller that much peace of mind to say, hey, this is what we like the house, but we're first-time home buyers. We're panicky.
Yeah,
we'll get it done in 6 hours.
Right.
I've done that with one of your properties.
Yeah.
I'll get it done the same day. And if I'll give you an answer by tomorrow morning. And if we don't like it, move on with whoever else that's interested in your property. But give us this opportunity. Because you could do inspections many ways. You know?
Yeah, no, totally. And that you have gotten creative with that, and you helped your buyers with that. You've educated them on that, which makes it makes them a better buyer.
Sure. Right.
Because that's what I noticed when you were bringing in clients, like you were representing the buyer. You had that buyer so educated on, like, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to present the offer. This is what we need to do to be competitive. Because the buyers, they have their own ideas going on in their head. They're not in so
many voices.
Yeah,
they take all these classes and they teach them all these things, and
right. They're not getting the experience that you're getting on a daily basis, totally entrenched and soaking up like a sponge all that's going on in the real estate, so that buyer can have, so that offer can look attractive.
Really attractive. We're gonna put together. Yeah. I bet with all my buyers, when we sit down, I say, listen, we will put together our best foot forward in any transaction. That's it.
And it makes a huge difference.
And then if we lose, that's okay.
That's okay.
But we fought. You know what I mean? So then, and a lot of them are happy because, one, we're confident in what we're talking about, right? And we answer their phone calls. So when they do close on this house and something happens, oh, my hot water tank is leaking.
Yeah.
I have the resource for you. So, like, yeah. The confidence and the trust that people have in us is great, and that's what allows you to be great as well, because without the people, supporting, using us, then.
So this is huge, because you were telling me about some of the programs that are available to, is it first-time home buyers, just home buyers in certain zip codes? Explain the grants. Like, I'm a buyer. How do I tap into these grants?
Yeah. So if you're a buyer, always, you better ask, is there options for you as a first-time buyer?
Okay.
Right? Is what's out there for you? Because there's a lot of tricky different things that are out there. You just have to do the research. And me, I'm constantly, like, learning it, There is, I think if you're a buyer in the city of Buffalo, go sit with Belmont. Go there and see what they have to offer. Because right now, Belmont has $15,000. It's income-driven. So,
right.
Like, based on how much you make, maybe you're over the limit. But while you're there, you're going to learn a lot about the process, So I think meet with Belmont. They don't just do Section 8. They do other stuff too.
Right.
They educate us.
Right.
And they're HUD certified. So go meet with Belmont and learn from them. Every bank.
I love Belmont too, because out of all the agencies that we worked with,
they're really nice.
Belmont's
They're
solid.
responsive.
Yeah.
They're respectful.
Totally.
There are, our Taggart is the guy that we work with mostly.
Does Bob DeVito still work there? Do you know?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
No. Art Taggart and Mrs. Gill.
Okay.
Those are the two people that have been, vital to a lot of my clients. So
awesome.
Take good care of them. But yeah, so Belmont actually knows about all the grants in town.
Interesting.
They know it all. But I know from the lenders that I work with what they have available as well.
Right.
I know M&T can get you up to $15,000.
Now you're saying, explain that to me. Unpack it.
Unpack
15,000. What does that mean?
It's up to 15,000 towards down payment or closing costs. Right. So
gotcha.
But everybody needs to at least have 2% of the purchase price in their pocket coming to the table.
So let's do some quick math.
Okay.
We're buying a house, $250,000.
Yeah. You need $5,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So
you want to buy a $250,000 house? Have
need
$5,000 ready when you call us.
Okay.
If you don't make a certain income too.
Okay.
So then we go to the bank and we'll use that. But as a realtor, like all the savvy things to do.
Well, let's say I have $3,000 saved.
And you can't buy a $250,000
Stick with
house.
me here. Stick with me here. So these grants, you just said M&T. You said M&T will give you $15,000. So can I use that $15,000? If I have the 3 and I want to tap into this $15,000 for my purchase, help me with purchase, down payment, closing costs, whatever. Am I able to? Or you're saying you actually have to have the 5 yourself And then you can take advantage of the 15. Am I making sense?
Yeah, so the grants are first come, first serve, so they're not always there.
Okay.
And it's not guaranteed that you'll get approved for the grant.
Gotcha.
Either. So you just come in and you're doing a regular transaction. The grant, once you're like a week in, then they'll tell you, hey, this is the amount you've been approved for up to this 15,000.
Gotcha.
Sometimes people get the whole 15, sometimes they only get 6. But still, it's money that you didn't have, right?
Absolutely.
And they don't give it all towards closing costs. Sometimes they'll split some towards down payment and some towards closing costs. So either way, it makes affordability better for buyers. And for sellers, this is why I think this is the best time for sellers to list your home, because people that can't buy without grants now can buy because of grants.
Yeah, so it's putting more buyers.
So you have more showings. Anybody can tell you right now there's more showings on any listing around because the grant season started at 2.9 this year.
So go to Belmont. Great resource.
Step one. Go to Belmont. Call them, and if you need a number, we'll give it to you.
And then there is individual lenders like M&T, KeyBank. You know these lenders.
The big banks. Yep,
the big banks, yeah.
And they're like, I don't know what this is called, but there are banks are like focused to fix some neighborhoods, right? So there's some neighborhoods that if you buy there, there's an additional three grand.
Right.
There's an additional $3,500 because you're buying in this specific neighborhood that the city wants to clean up. So
absolutely.
So that take advantage of everything you could take advantage of as a first-time buyer. And if you're a second-time buyer and things of that nature, a doctor, a nurse, first response, there's something for everybody.
There's still programs that they can.
There's something for everybody. Like I bought a house using a lender in Syracuse, home headquarters, right? That's what I used to buy my house in Kenmore. That's what I was going to use to buy the house on Main. So like there is so many things out there, and realtors, you should learn it. Like you should go out daily and see what more can you bring resource-wise to help your clients get what they need.
Gotcha.
Because we sit with a bunch of people every day, and everybody's different.
It's incredible. I mean, what an opportunity.
I helped the lady get $45K last week.
I was going to say, I saw some people get $50,000 on these type of, that's huge.
Like, it makes a difference. And it's a difference. Sometimes some of them you have to live in a house for a certain amount of time after.
Still.
You're buying a house.
Yeah.
Like, that dream is, like, taken care of.
No,
So because of the grants. So
Naka, what's your opinion on Naka?
Yeah, Naka is the best mortgage in America.
Cheapest rates.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think about their home education program? Come on, Kekeli, don't hold back. Let's give it to us real.
I don't like some of the things they teach people. Because people that go through some of these programs, not just NACA, just any other program, they come to you with all of these things that they learned from school. And you have to literally
uneducate them.
It's not how it works. The person teaching your course bought their house in '85.
Right.
It's a new market, new prices. Sure, do inspection, but know what you're getting from your inspection. Like, know what you're doing. You don't have to meet with 5 realtors to choose one. You don't have to sit with 10 lenders to pick one, right? So like, they learn so many things that just...
it's almost too much, you're saying. They're giving them too much information.
It's already an overwhelming process.
It's a 2-year program, isn't it?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
If you're clean cut, you could get a house in as early as 6 months.
Really?
Yep. I looked into working at NACA once as an agent, so I learned some of the... some people that have all their stuff in order, they can go quick, and some people it takes 2 years.
Well, I know from a seller's perspective, we used to be like, oh my God, somebody just submitted an offer under NACA. We're not going to touch it. We're not getting involved. That's like, we're just asking for a problem. Mm-hmm. But now, man, they cleaned up their act.
They're good.
And they're
good. I think,
they're writing loans. They're pushing deals through. They're not jamming it up. They're not taking 90 days like some of your other clients there, Kekeli.
Long Meadow.
So on the NACA, to finish my thought there, is I've sat in even on some of their training. I don't remember how. I know I ended up there.
It's nice to learn more stuff, though, because it helps you, too.
absolutely.
Like, what are you dealing with in this world? So yeah, that's cool.
And obviously we see a lot of contracts come through the office, and I'm surprised there aren't more people taking advantage of Naka. Like, even people watching this video, I'm sure that I didn't know you could call Belmont and find out what grants are available. You can find out the grants that are available that you can take advantage of. I just feel like either Naka's takes a bad rap. Well, why is there not more people going through the program? That's my question.
Yeah,
like, there's money there.
Yep, I think some people are impatient. Some people are impatient because Naka is not. With me, you'll get a house in 75 days. With Naka is going to take you 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Some people are dealing like they're motivated. Their motivation is different. Some people have to move right now, so they can't wait.
People, right.
People that could wait.
Yeah.
And some people that can't wait or don't want higher prices, because right now the house in your neighborhood you want to buy is $200,000. When you're done with Naka in a year, that house is now worth $250,000. Are you okay with understanding that concept?
Right.
But if you can wait, I think Naka is the best mortgage in America by far. But again, it's
you got to go through the
patience.
process.
Yeah,
right?
You have to go through the process, and it don't happen overnight. And you have to be so compliant with everything they're asking you to do, because you put everything on like auto pay for that certain period of time, and they follow up, make sure everything is on auto pay. The moment you miss it, then they can't help you. It's not the greatest thing about it is no credit, it's no down payment. It's just you have to comply with what they're telling you to do.
And like a 2 to 3% mortgage rate, like interest rate.
Yeah, I think it's like 2% lower than
prime
what the average is.
Yeah,
which is great.
Absolutely. All right, I think that wraps us up. Thank you for coming on.
I think the last question you had was like your favorite thing and your worst thing, right? I think that was.
Oh yeah, your favorite thing about real estate and your worst, the worst part of real estate.
What's yours?
Oh, what's mine?
Yeah, then I'll tell you mine.
I think, off the top of my head, one of the things I like about real estate is there's always something happening. So, the adrenaline that you can get from being involved with real estate, to me, it's just like, you're meeting different people, you're talking about different pieces of land, properties. There's just always something stimulating going on. That makes it addictive, almost like a casino type of experience.
And what do you dislike?
Real estate agents. No.
He mean that.
I mean, that's a for real statement. No.
Sometimes I struggle with that too.
Of course. Real estate's non-forgiving. Like, it does not care what color you are, what your background, whether you have money or don't have money, it's non-forgiving. So if you make the wrong purchase or you have your own conclusions of what the value is, like real estate it gives it to you the way the market speaks.
Absolutely.
So that can be painful if you're on the wrong side of it. Like
1,000%.
But because I'm associated with this piece of real estate, and because it's in this zip code, and because this house is just the best house, it has to be valued at this. And the market will tell you it doesn't care.
Right.
It doesn't care. The market is going to tell you what the value is. And again, if you're on the wrong side of that, where you in your mind think, okay, well, I can buy it for this. I can put X amount into it. And for sure, I'm going to sell it for this because this is so special. It's not special. The market doesn't care.
Get your emotions out of real estate.
Get your emotions out of it.
For sure.
So it can slap you up the side of the head if you're not.
Trust the pros, and like this gets solved by trusting us, the pros. We could tell you without the emotions, like what you're getting yourself into.
Because it's easy to get emotionally involved in it.
Tell me about it.
But anyways, best and worst.
This is gonna sound cliche, but the greatest thing for me in real estate is that we get to work with people, and the worst thing is we have to work with people, right? Like
right. That's a great way to put it.
That's the only way I can put it.
Yeah.
Because some people are great. We get to work with some of the most amazing people that understand and allows us to teach them and allows us to. And then we have to work with people that don't want to work with us. So that makes it difficult. But that's the fact that we help people every day and make a difference. That's what makes my job so fun and amazing. And not every day is the same. And you talked about it. Like in 1 week, I'll talk to a guy that makes $50,000 a year or a guy that makes $2 million a year.
Yeah.
Like that's what real estate has done for me, right? So I'm literally like the conduit between rich and poor. And, and I get to like go out there and share everything I'm learning with all different sides of the spectrum, which is I love.
Absolutely. All right. Very good. All right, Jerry. That's where we're at.
Thank you. That was great. I got to do this thing in reverse with Matt because I want to know Matt's story because I'm telling Matt my whole life here.